Now think about where digital is going and the power of digital, of how can you now link up the GORE enterprise in ways we never thought of. And so it seems like an easy task, but for a company that came from, I'd say, a really powerful culture of distributed leadership, it creates a different challenge for you, because now you're asking folks to do things in a common way. Because you've got to agree upon data standards. You have to agree upon certain things of how the work gets done. That's the journey we're on. It is absolutely painful. I am torturing the organization. And one of the reasons I'm spending so much time in town halls is all they see is the downside of the change, the loss. Because again, just the beautiful thing that Bill built of autonomy and free spirit now is all under question. Are we going to be able to do this in a way that can preserve that core of that self-empowerment and at the same time build this superhighway? That's the one challenge with transformational change. When it cuts at the core of your DNA, boy, be ready, because this is a battle for the fittest, right? This is not a journey for a month. This is a journey for several years. The other thing I learned through this journey is what makes it so easy is it's all within our control. All the changes that I've described to you is not a disruption that we've felt from the market, not we've missed a business or something got displaced. It's all kind of changes to our DNA. That's the easy part. The hard part, it is right at the behavior, right, of how we want our associates to behave. And so one thing I learned early on is you can talk about the journey, but if they can't visualize what their world's going to look like and what's the behavior that's going to be different. So I started a series of these from to, right, how we used to behave, and how do we want to behave in the future. And it started interesting. I had about 4. And what was really cool is it didn't take long for associates to create 10 more and 20 more. And then they personalized it to the shifts that they needed to make within their team. And I think that's another part about change. You've got to really make it really at the core of someone thinking, I've got to change what I need to do differently. Leaders only get there if they have followership. And so it's a very powerful concept that we have leaders that in very important commitments in GORE, but how they got there and how they behave really matters. And so it really also has to be kind of the servant leadership. Do they really get the voice of the organization? Do they really empower the organization versus it being about the leader? So that's a very important value that we have. The other one, which also creates kind of a check and balance on how we operate, is everyone is evaluated by their peers, and that includes how we get compensated. And so another way to make it very clear that you don't just arrive as a leader and you've got the title and you've got the position, every day you're earning that, because you know you're going to get evaluated by your peers, which in turn will determine who really is making the greatest contribution to the organization. And that's how we pay. That's how we do our compensation process.